I'd say I'm good at piano. I'd say I'm alright at violin. And for this project, I decided to pursue my passion for music and learn a piece for piano and violin. I've decided to learn a piece called Czardas by It's quite famous actually, and you might have heard it. For violin, Czardas is definitely out of my level. I'm only around a level 4, level 5 level, but I'm willing to take the challenge and learn it in 3 weeks. I've done this type of thing before, playing a duet by myself and then using video editing to stitch it together. I did a piano duet with March Militaire by myself because I don't have a lot of friends. And it turned out, I'd say it turned out alright. So let's see how this one goes. This is day 1 of my 3-week journey. First day is always the most important, a lot of sight reading, a lot of pencil marks, and a lot of out-of-tune notes. The violin part was something. Obviously it was hard, but it was mostly my inability to move my fingers that fast, that the music was sort of lagged behind. It makes everything sound a lot messier, so I hope by the end of this project to make everything sound much cleaner and neater. I actually didn't know how fast it was until day 2, and that's when I realized for this project, rhythm was actually more important than anything else. The violin and piano needed to be together, and it's not like in real life where the musicians can change the tempo to match the speed of the other player. So there has to be a default set speed, and I have to follow that speed because I can't adjust anything. I recorded myself on the piano and then played a violin over it, and that's when I found out I couldn't keep up to the piano, and that was a big problem. So I needed to learn how to play faster and make my fingers warmer. At the end of day 2, I watched some recordings and discovered that my fingering was wrong and that I needed to shift up to 6th position. This cramped my wrist a lot, and it doesn't sound quite good. When you play in higher positions, it sounds a lot like a boat horn, and the tone is just really isn't that great. But apparently it was the only correct way of playing this piece, so I had to deal with wrist pains for the rest of the month. For week 2, I wanted to be able to play through the entire piece without getting a sore arm or wrong notes. So this called for the one thing I hate, slow practice. I hate slow practice so much because it's just so boring. And most of the time I just stop practicing after like 5-10 minutes because it's boring and I want to do something more interesting. Slow practice is just, it sucks. I spent maybe 3 hours on Czardas every day, an hour of which was in first period, where a lot of you guys got deafened by my death saw, so thanks to everyone who had to put up with that. Going into week 3, I needed to refine everything and actually practice in my own time instead of sitting at my desk and just getting distracted every 30 seconds. I also started learning vibrato, which is when you shake the note, and I guess it adds more flavor into the music. You be the judge of how well that worked out. Oh yeah, that's the face for someone who's been practicing for the last 6 hours and still can't play in tune. Let's touch on my piano progress for a bit, which was 10 minutes every day. Then I got bored and played other pieces because the piano part wasn't that hard at all. And also I needed to work on my exam pieces. In hindsight, I definitely should have practiced piano more, but much too late now. I'll say right now that in no way do I think that my violin playing is actually good enough to be presentable, but it's a very tight time frame. 20 days is never enough to learn a whole piece, and I poured my sweat and tears into this project, and unfortunately this is the best with what I can work with. I've talked enough now. This is my final product. What did you say?
I said maybe you should try forgetting that there's a camera.
Okay, thanks, man.